This is just a quick video of our understairs cupboard project. We saw a similar one at a friend's house which they had professionally made. We liked the idea but didn't think it would quite fit into what we wanted to do overall. So usual question, how hard can it be? So we thought we'd make our own. And here it is. So this is a 1930s house. Everything's wonky, which makes things like this slightly difficult. This wall under the stairs was solid brick, which we had to knock down and build the cupboards underneath. As you can see, the cupboards are sort of 3.5. We have a small corner cupboard, which is just for storing work towels. And then we have 3 separate pullouts of varying sizes. The smaller one is about 1.2 meters tall. And as you can see, you can just press it and it slides out. So it's full length back to the back of the external wall. And we've got one big shelf and one little, and we just use these push spring catches from eBay. The next cupboard, same sort of thing, and again it just pulls out, and we have 2 big shelves and one little. Now you can see the shelves are all made of this MFC. Now when we did the kitchen, if you're interested to see our other video, it's from DIY Kitchens. And they can provide MFC in any colour, pre-cut to size. So they can't do the angles, but they can make an edge the correct width. So hence we had all this delivered when we had the kitchen done last year. So I've just been sitting on it. But it made life easy because it's much more substantial than B&Q stuff. The front panel here is just 12mm MDF. I don't really like MDF, but actually it came out okay. We chamfered the edge just with a router, and then we glossed it with a roller, foam roller, so it's got a nice rippled effect. And to be honest, we were afraid of anything warping, but there's no way that's going to warp. I mean, the MFC is holding it really strong. So again, just push close. And then the next cupboard, this is the big cupboard, and again it's it's massive, it's over 2 meters tall, and you can get loads of stuff in there. So it basically fully utilises the space under the stairs. Now in hindsight, the runners here are heavy duty. I should have gone for very heavy duty runners for the big one, because the MFC framework probably weighs about 40 kilos, maybe 50 by itself. And hey presto, it all finishes off nice and flush. And then finally the understairs cupboard is finished, and again we've just got stuff bolted to the wall. Now because we built a stud wall and plastered that, we knew where the supports were, so hence the shelf brackets are screwed straight into 4x2, so that's going nowhere. And the Dyson sitting on the edge. Now if anybody knows a better way of storing Dyson attachments rather than over coat hooks, then yeah, please let us know. But that's it. That's the finished item. What I'll do, I will go through some photos during the build and explain what we did and why, and if that's of interest and there's some ideas you can steal, then feel free to do so, and good luck with your project. Okay, as promised, here are some photos we took during the build. The first one shows the understairs cupboard as it was, and as you can see it's large, massive, but a complete wasted space. The shelves were useless, and you really couldn't store stuff in there. I did build a version 1 cupboard inside this, but to be honest it was a dog's dinner, so I removed it before taking a photo. Then removing those, we found obviously the wall was made of brick, so we checked and made sure the string wasn't being supported by the wall, crossed our fingers, and then just smashed the wall down. And that was messy. I mean, these ash blocks are very, very messy, but it was a clean enough job at the end of the day. Once that was done, we just built a timber framework, edged the cut nicely, and then built the stud wall out of 4x2, put some plasterboard on, and then plastered. I'll be honest, this is my first ever bit of plastering. I followed some YouTube videos on how to do it, and to be honest, I thought it's behind the shelves, no one's going to see it, so it's worth playing. But ultimately it wasn't that bad. I'm actually really impressed with the results. Let's just say it fits in perfectly with a really old rickety house. Probably not showroom quality, but nor's this house. But yeah, absolutely fine. So I'm not going to be scared of doing that in the future. Then the framework under the stairs, we used some 4x2 supports. We put those wedged under the stairs just in case the stairs wanted to move, and then built the runner supports out of 3x2. Now, what you've got to think about is the seesaw effect. When you pull out a unit, it'll pivot at the front connections, which is connected to the 4x2s, but then the back end will try and rise up, just like a seesaw. So you've got to be careful that doesn't happen. So as you can see on the back wall, we've got some 4x2 timbers. They're massively bolted into the back wall. That's top and bottom. So the weight of the moving part, so the sort of shelf support brackets, is taken up by the battens on the back wall. Now this means that when you pull out one of the draw units, the back will try and lift up, but the actual forces are then spread across the entire batten and held by the wall. Also the weight of the other draw units pushing down will again help counteract that. So I'm happy with what we've done. I mean, it'll take a couple of adults jumping on the other end to be fine, but you just need to take that into account. We then built the framework out of MFC, sorry, the draw units out of the 18mm MFC we got from DIY Kitchens. And to make the shelves, we just doweled and drilled and screwed and glued. First time I've used a doweling kit, but again, it was absolutely fine, as long as you think about what you're doing. The vertical edges on the edge of the shelves, we put those in to stop the twisting, so the front doesn't bend forward and back, if that makes sense. So again, you've got to think about bracing. I did expect to have to brace those a bit more, but there's no lateral movement when you pull the unit out, but you do need to think about those forces. Once the units were built, because they're free from the base, we could just rest them on the base and then swivel them around to make them parallel with the vertical 4x2s. My DIY is not perfect by any stretch, so underneath the corners I had to use various spacers just to get the angle right and to get the front of the units, which you can see here, flush with the 4x2s. Once they were flush, we were then able to screw them in. And again, once they were screwed in and fixed, we could then cut the MDF to size, wedge it and level it up to the framework, and then screw through and hold that in. So basically it meant the whole thing is totally adjustable. So whilst it looks like it's really neat at the front and flush, yeah, behind the scenes there's a few wedges that you can't really see. The MDF went on really well. We glossed it with we obviously did some undercoat, and we glossed it with a foam roller. It's given a nice ripple effect. Looks really good, but the wife went mental because as soon as you finish, if you just touch it, it shows, and you have to do the whole thing again. And it took 2 or 3 days of glossing and pulling her hair out, and yeah, she wasn't happy. But that's the end result, and it sort of works well. Wasn't that expensive to do, and it wasn't really that difficult. It looks more complex than it actually was. But I hope there's some ideas there you can steal for your projects. Good luck, guys.